In today's video, we're going to show you how to draw your parallel circuit. To start with our parallel circuit, you're going to create a new program, and you're going to use your inch template that we made in the original um, exercise. And then we are going to use our blocks that we created in the last exercise. So if we go to Insert and we click on, and we're going to start with our battery. So if we just click on our battery and drag it out into our drawing, and we want our battery to be located at coordinates 2.5, comma 4.5. That will give us a good starting point for our battery. So then we're going to complete our circuit. We're going to click on our line. We're going to draw a line up, and we're just going to go in the polar direction. Make sure you are a straight line and go one enter. That will put our line 1 inch from our battery. Then we're going to come over horizontally and go 2 inches. And then we're going to come down 0.75 inches. And then we're going to hit escape to escape out of drawing our line. We're going to go back to our insert, and we're going to insert our resistor there. So we're going to click on our resistor, and we're going to put it on the end of the line that we just drew. Now our resistor is not oriented in the right direction, so we're going to select our resistor. We're going to come up here and hit the rotate button. And then we're going to rotate our button from the end of our line and the end of the resistor. And we want to rotate that 90 degrees down. So if we move our mouse, it will line it up 90 degrees down. And then we're going to come back and add us another line from the end of our resistor. And we're going to come down another 0.75 inches. And then if we go over 2 inches, and then that should put us back to where we started. So this is our first resistor. And now we need to do 2 more, which would be fairly simple. We're just going to highlight those lines that we just drew, and we're going to type in copy, and we're going to copy those lines from our end, and then we're going to place those in parallel with our first resistor. So that would be resistor 2, and that will be resistor 3. And that is all there is to drawing our parallel circuit. Okay, now that we have created our parallel circuit, I want to add text to our circuit. So we know this is our voltage source, R1, R2, and R3. This is the first time we've added any text to any of our drawings. So I would like to create a text layer. So as you remember, we're going to go to our layer properties, and then we will click on a new layer. So this is adding how we create a new layer. So we just simply click on that. It'll give us a new layer here. We're going to name it just simply text. And I would like to change the color to blue. So our text will be blue. And we want to close this so we can see what we're doing. As you notice, it doesn't put us in that text automatically. So you'll have to open your layers and click on the layer text so that you can get on the layers. And then it will draw us our blue, our text will be in blue, and it will be in that text. So we want to line up our text and in the center of our components that we already have. So to add our text, just click on the text icon, and we're going to use our coordinate system to line up our text with our components. So we're just going to type in 1.25 and comma 4. That will put our text fairly close to the center of our components. Then we're going to just drag it over and hit 1 and enter, and that's going to give us the width of our text. And then we're just going to simply type in VS, and we're going to do a space equals space and 24V for volts. So that will be our text for our voltage source. And then we'll just click off of that, and that will make it in blue, and that is centered with our components as we go. So then we're going to add another text, and this is going to be at 3.25 comma 4. So 4 will be our vertical plane, so it will keep it straight. You notice if we go the other, we don't want to go this way because it will go in the wrong direction. So we got to move our mouse to the correct direction type 1 and hit enter. And then this is going to be R1 space equals space, and it's going to be 2.2 K, and I want you to do ohms. Now you can come up here to symbols, and that should have our omega symbol in that. So if we go down and we find our omega, you can click on that, and that will put our ohms in there for us. And if we click off of it, we notice this is a little too big. So we want to bring this in a little bit so it doesn't get into our values. You notice if we make our box a little smaller, it will bring the 2.2K below the R1, and that's the way we want it to look. We want it to have R1 equals and then 2.2K ohms below that. So then we will just escape out of that and do our third resistor, and this one is going to be at 5.25 comma 4, and then enter, and then again we're going to come over 1 and hit enter, and that will make our box for our R2 space enter. Our R2 is going to be 3.3 K ohms again. So come to symbols and find your omega, which is the ohm symbol, and click ohms, and then we have our R2. And we'll do one more for R3. We'll click on our text, and it is going to be at 7.25 comma 4, and then we're going to come over 1 inch, and then that will be where we put our R3 equals space, and R3 is 5K ohms. And again, we'll hit our symbol and come down to our omega and make it our omega symbol. If you would like, you could put in the ohm signal, but I like the omega symbol better. So that is how we're going to do our drawing. So you'll go up here. After you get your drawing complete, we'll go up here and do a save, and save this as your parallel circuit drawing. And we will export this. We will copy this and export it into an Excel file, but that will be in a future video.